run PS for fake packages and certain homebrew applications. And of course, once it's integrated into ETA, you'll also be able to use it to run PS5 game backups as well. And use it to run things like the homebrew store and item flow. And you might be able to actually get some of that stuff now, which I will show you here. But generally, it will be best to wait until everything has been fully integrated. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at this. So what I'm gonna do in this video is show you how to load case stuff, especially if you need to load it yourself, by sending the payload manually, mainly because as more firmwares get added, they will probably not get added to the exploit host immediately. So if you want to run these test builds, new builds are being produced, then you're gonna have to inject them manually. So we're gonna take a look at that as well as how to load from the web browser. So if you don't have the UMTX exploit, you already have that set up, and you're able to access the web browser. You can head over to the UMTX exploit now. If you see this message, when you open the exploit host that says it's downloading a new cache, wait for that to complete, and once it says it's finished, you then need to refresh the page. So of course, whenever case stuff gets added to the exploit host, it will need to recache the page. And so when you see that message, that might mean that case stuff has then been added, or ETA an updated ETA potentially with case stuff has been added to the exploit host. So you want to make sure you wait for that and then refresh the page. And then you can run the jailbreak and let that run to completion. And if you see a PS5 case stuff option and maybe even an ETA hen option, then that basically means that the case stuff must have been integrated, and you'll be able to just run them directly from the browser itself. Which is what will happen once it's been, fully integrated. But of course, if you are running this where we don't have the options to run a case stuff or ETA hen inside the web browser right now, then you can inject the payloads using Netcat GUI. So if we switch over to our computer here, I can take the case stuff payload that I downloaded and throw it into Netcat GUI. And all you have to do is, enter the PS5's IP address in the host box, and the port number is 9021. And then you can inject the payload, and that will run case stuff on your PS5. So there we go, it's now up and running. Okay, so to test we can put some PS for fake packages on the root of the USB drive format. So we've got a few things here. Minecraft PT. And then also we've got the package file. Well, that one really doesn't matter because that's got nothing to do with King. We've got PT, we've got and Minecraft. We've also got a PS5 homebrew application. So we'll throw those on the root of a USB and plug it into our PS5. And then on our PS5 we can go over to settings. We can scroll down to our debug settings game. Click OK to that message and go down to package installer. And then we can just install all of these package files with stuff. And this should allow us to install them. Now, technically, you could install fake packages anyway on 5.x firmware. We just were not able to run them without case stuff. Although we should be able to run them now. Now, for full transparency, I am running this on my 4.03 system because I don't actually have a console that is on a 5.x firmware. But the steps are, of course, exactly the same here, since we are essentially taking 5.x up to the same level as 4.x firmware. So yeah, let's take a look at this. Let's try and run Minecraft. And if it loads successfully, then you do in fact have a working version of case stuff on your PS5 if you're able to load your PS for fake packages. So that's Minecraft successfully running. I'm sure PT will be the same. Yep, there we go, you can see the little icon blinking there. So that is also working. And then finally, we can try a PS5 homebrew application like PS5 Explorer. And in this case, you can see it says waiting for ETA hen. So ETA hen is required for most of PS5 homebrew applications that are run using case stuff. So because of that, what we'll need to do is run ETA hen. Now, it is actually possible to get some homebrew apps like PS5 Explorer even before ETA hen gets official case stuff support. I believe by loading ETA hen first on your 5.x system, making sure it's the new pre-release build to the ETA hen 2.0 which you can inject from Netcat GUI on port 90. To when you basically inject ETA hen first and let that load. And then once that's loaded, you can then inject the PS5 case stuff payload next on the same port. And by doing that, it should be possible then to load PS5 Explorer, and maybe other homebrew applications as well. Although that is not recommended at the moment. Obviously, best thing to do right now is just enjoy PS5 and then once, of course, ETA hen gets integrated with which probably won't take very long. You'll then be able to use items flow on the homebrew store from ETA, and you'll also then be able to load your PS5 game backups from items flow as well, and then 5.x will be fully up to speed and on the same level essentially as 3.x, in fact maybe even in a better position, because any PS5 game dumps that are not working on 4.x and 3.x right now could probably run on a 5.x firmware with case stuff. You'll have access to potentially more PS5 game backups previous firmware, so yeah, definitely exciting. And of course it'll be interesting to see if this can also be ported to 7.x firmwares in the hopefully not too distant future. Obviously there have been some new security measures implemented on those higher firmwares, so we'll have to see if that presents any kind of issue. But eventually we may see 5K stuff all the way up to potentially 7.61 in future. So yeah, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I found the information useful. Again, I'll do a proper guide once everything's fully integrated. We're still in the very early stages here, so that is why obviously things are gonna be changing quite frequently here. So I just want to give you guys a quick rundown on how to get it set up initially with these new test builds, and then once everything is fully integrated, we'll have a proper guide that goes through how to set everything up in detail. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this one or found the information useful. Please leave a like and subscribe. Once again, I'll hopefully